Let's go make this precious advent calendar. But first, always remember to share this so it will save to your profile and you can find it when you're looking for it again later. I started with 24 6" by 6" squares and 6 8" by 21" pieces. The first thing I did was sewed my squares together just like this, pretty side to pretty side, and I sewed 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. So I sewed 4 together 6 times. So we're gonna sew these 4 together. Let's put them like we want them to look. So I'm gonna pick this one up, turn it over, and I'm gonna sew right here. Just down this side, straight stitch, 1/4 inch seam, back stitching when I start and when I stop, because my grandma said so. Now I'm gonna open this up and I'm gonna pick up the next one. I'm gonna lay it down on top of it, pretty side to pretty side, straight stitch, just like I did the first one. And then I'm gonna do the last one the same way. Okay, now we need to be ironed. I'm gonna go iron mine, you go iron yours. I'll be right back. I'm back. So I'm gonna take one piece that's 8 inches by 21 inches. Oh wait, before I do that, when I ironed mine flat, I also ironed it over and over again. So I ironed it over and over again, just like that. Now I'm gonna come and straight stitch this down because that's gonna be the top of my pocket for the Advent prizes to go in. Now I've sewn that down. I'm gonna lay it face up on my 6" by 21" piece. And if it's a little longer, I'm just kind of trying to center it up. Now, what we're gonna do is go and sew a straight line, stitch in the ditch, kind of. We're gonna stitch right here in between each piece of fabric so that we can create these pockets. I'm gonna clip mine so it doesn't shift when I'm sewing it. And I'm just gonna sew a straight stitch right there. And there, and there. And that's it. You've made one row of your advent calendar. You see our pockets? Now, you're gonna do this 5 more times. You'll have 6 rows total. And after you have those together, then we're gonna start adding our ribbons. I didn't sew the end of mine because we're gonna sew all the way around it and it's gonna sew shut then, but you can sew the end of yours if you want to. Because I'm not the boss of you. I've sewn 5 of my rows together. I'm gonna show you how to sew this row on, but you'll sew all of the rows exactly the same way. So here we have one row and we're sewing it to the next row, but we have to have these ribbons, right? So what we have are 3" ribbons, and we have 24 of those because we have one for every pocket and we have 24 pockets. So on each row, you'll need 4 ribbons for 4 pockets. So we have 3" pieces. I did not measure mine. Y'all saw me cut those, but they're close enough. And I'm gonna come and put that just like this, just folding it in half, putting it here. Mine up here, they might be a little longer than these other ones, but it doesn't matter to me. If it matters to you, then you should trim yours. But if you cut all of yours at the same time, unlike what I just did, they'll all be the same size. Now, I've laid my ribbon on top of the pockets. So I've sewn my piece, I've got my pockets, I put my ribbon facing that way, clipped to the center of each pocket. Then I'm gonna take this piece, which would be my 2nd piece, 3rd piece, 4th piece, 5th piece, and 6th piece. And I'm gonna lay it pretty side down. And I want, for instance, mine is this pretty pink peppermint stripe. But whatever your background fabric is, I want it to be facing your clips, your ribbon, line it up, and then you're gonna straight stitch this down. Straight stitch, 1/4 inch seam, back stitching when you start and when you stop, because my grandma said so. Okay, so we've sewn that, we opened it up. And do you see how our ribbons don't come down and lay flat? We're going to top stitch this. And if you take your back piece and fold it up like this, just like this, it will make your ribbons go that way. So it lays flat on top of your advent calendar. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take my advent calendar front to the ironing board and I'm going to iron it this way. So I'm gonna put my seams pointing that way so that my ribbon points in the other direction. Do you see that? When I iron it down, as long as I point my seam that way, it's gonna make my ribbon point that way. And that's what we want because we want it to come down over our pocket, or that's what I want. But if you don't want that, leave it like it is. I'll be right back. I'm back. Now, I've ironed mine. Do you see how I ironed my seam that way? And so now my ribbon points that way, just like this. So I'm gonna come and top stitch right here. And by top stitch, I just mean closer to the edge. I'm gonna sew a straight seam close to the bottom of the pocket because I wanna keep that seam up that way so that my ribbon continues to hang down when I put my little numbers on it. Okay, so now we've sewn all 6 rows together. So we have 6 rows of pockets. The very top, we have our ribbon because when we hang it, these pockets have to have numbers, right? So we have 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows, 4 rows, 5 rows, and 6 rows. But not only does this have to have ribbon for the numbers to hang, but it also has to have ribbon so this can hang. So what I have are 4 pieces of 8-inch ribbon. And I'm going to put that on either end and right here. So all this is so it can hang over the bar on our wall hanger that we make our wall flags for. I'm using the same one for my advent calendar. So I'm gonna add these pieces of 8-inch ribbon folded in half at the top along with our smaller ribbon for our numbers. Okay, so I took my whole sewn together piece to my cutting mat. I measured it and I cut my back piece to match. So mine is 22 inches by 44 inches. I've been telling y'all these pieces were 8 inches by 21, but they're really 8 by 22. So when you sew yours together, don't cut your back piece until you're ready. Sew all of it together and then measure for your back piece so it can be the right size because potentially it's a little bit different than mine. Now, I'm gonna lay my advent calendar face up and I'm gonna lay my back piece pretty side down. And now I'm just gonna sew all the way around, except I'm gonna leave a hole so that I can turn it. And I'm really excited about this, super, super excited. I'm not pinning or clipping mine, do not yell at me. If you wanna pin or clip yours, I want you to. Straight stitch, 1/4 inch seam, back stitching when you start and when you stop, because my grandma said so. Okay, now we've sewn it. So let's turn it right side out if we can find the hole that we left. Here it is. I'm really excited about this. We did an advent last year and it was little mini nativity figurines and they opened one every day and it was super fun. Although we had to put it on top of the refrigerator to keep them from opening all of them at the same time. I've never had an advent for myself. And I wonder if I would have the self-discipline. And the truth is, I'd probably have to put it on the top of the refrigerator for me too. Okay, oh my goodness, look how sweet our advent calendar is. All right, make sure you poke out your corners, fingers, handy dandy tool, chopstick. Do not use your scissors. Poke a hole in your project. You'll be crying because you have a hole. I'll be crying because you didn't listen to me. And then everybody's crying. Y'all, this is adorable. Okay, I'm gonna go iron mine. You go iron yours. I'll be right back. I'm back. Now, we're gonna top stitch all the way around the outside, closing up the hole that we left. And when I get to the top, here's the top of mine. It's gonna hang from the bar like this. So when I am top stitching the top, I'm just gonna fold these ribbons down and top stitch over them so that they hang down. So when we add our numbers in a minute, it makes sense. Hey, now, oh my goodness, here's our advent calendar, but we have to add some numbers. So if you're better than I am, you can add your numbers as you put your ribbons on. I did that, and then I had them all kind of backwards. Don't ask how that happened because I still haven't figured it out. So now we have to add our numbers to this advent calendar. I got these wooden numbers from Amazon. They're linked in my Amazon storefront. This linked in the caption if you're looking for them. And I'm going to add mine to the pieces of ribbon, I think, maybe. Since I had them all messed up and had to break them all off, one of y'all told me to get some jump rings and put them back on that way, which was pretty genius. So I ordered some jump rings and now I'm gonna put my numbers on this away. Looks kind of like an ornament. I think that's what it's supposed to look like. Okay, let me go put mine on while you put yours on. Dun, dun, dun! Oh my goodness, it's so cute. The little ladies are gonna love it. Now I need to go add the rest of my numbers to my advent calendar and I want you to send me photos of the ones that you make. My name is Tammy. I'm your favorite sewing teacher, and I would love for you to come sew with me.